bit short. Check out bum ba bum ba bum bum. Hello, my name's Richard. Welcome to We're Not Wizards and 6 Degrees of Expectation. And today we're taking a look at Uranus by the Dark Imp, and it was designed by Ellie Dix. At its heart, Uranus is a cooperative resource management game. And what that means by a cooperative game is that either everybody wins or everybody loses, and you must work together, have discussions and decide what you need to do in order to build settlements on Uranus and then jet off and survive. The game itself is split into several main sections. The first section is you've got to allocate damage caused by the latest meteorite shower, and you do this by every player is going to have coordinate and damage cards to the left of them, coordinate and damage cards to the right of them, and you will share your coordinate and damage cards with the other players that you are playing. So the person to the left of you will also be using your coordinate and damage cards. And what I mean by this is your moon itself has its own set of coordinates. When you turn over your cards, it'll tell you the coordinates where the damage is going to occur, and also the size of damage that's going to occur as well. And what you need to do is you need to take your dry marker and you need to mark and shade that area to show that it's been damaged. So as an example here, I've got a -2 and a -2 on the red and a 2 on the blue, and a 0 on the yellow. And if I triangulate them together, it means that I'm going to be damaging round about this area here. It's then up to you to decide which part you're going to damage, as that's going to have ramifications on where you're going to be collecting resources and how you're going to be collecting resources as well. The second part is you're then going to be gathering resources. So as you play the game, you're going to be building mines and you're going to be building tunnels. And what you're going to be doing is, when you come to the gathering, you're going to be gathering together the resources that you've gathered into groups of materials. These groups of materials will then in turn be removed from the mine, and then they can be used on your individual project boards. And you're moving into kind of like that's your move phase, mine and move phase. You're then kind of going into your build phase. Now you've got two options in your build phase. You can either use the rocks and resources that you've built to transport them to Uranus and help you to build the settlements, provided you've got like a launch pad built, or alternatively you'll be using them on your product boards themselves in order to upgrade components, or build tunnels and mines, or kind of even research kind of technology that's going to help you. You can build useful things like fortifications, and that'll mean in the event of like an asteroid hitting your mine, that mine will be fortified and it won't come under any damage. You can use like a launch pad, and that will allow you to send up resources to Uranus. You can build a space gun, which effectively allows you, when you fire it, to mitigate some of the damage caused by the asteroids at the beginning of the game. Or you can learn technologies. The telescope allows you to see what the damage is going to be. Your weaponry basically allows you to get your space gun kind of quicker. Your spaceship itself is what you need to build in order to escape to Uranus itself. Each of the individual player boards has their own benefit. So some of them, for instance, I've got here the Osmions. Their special abilities, they're launchers. So their special ability is they can launch any set of moon rocks from their moon once per turn per launch pad. But the rocket technology has already been discovered as well, so that helps with launching items into space itself. Once you've done that, your moon will have been cleared. you'll reset your cards and you'll go into the next round. Unfortunately, the other thing that's also going to happen is that this yellow cube of doom, and it's only a really small yellow cube, you wouldn't think it would harm a fly, smells very, very slightly of lemon. It moves up the track, and when it moves up the track, it's heading towards the imminent disaster of all of the moons getting destroyed. Winning the game, as I said, winning the game, while you have as an individual an ability to launch yourself into Uranus once you've built your settlement, that basically obstructs you from really playing any further more in the game. But you will win the game if all of your players, every person who's playing manages to get there, basically manages to build a settlement on Uranus, have their spaceship built, and that allows them to kind of evacuate. In terms of learning, well, two things. The main thing is that you are looking at phases in terms of the turns, so that each of the turns has, you know, a number of phases, which means in terms of learning, as you go, you'll be kind of learning a phase. So in that case, it's easy to learn a phase and move on. In terms of learning the game altogether, it's actually just still is quite easy to set the game up and kind of play and learn at the same time. And again, as with, and I'm a big fan of Dark Imp. In terms of the rule books are fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. And the rule book here doesn't only include just the rules of the game, there's a lovely setup diagram in there, numbered setups in there, and also as you're going through the rules, there's examples to show you what you can expect as you're kind of playing around, to actually cover kind of eventualities as well. And there's no kind of ambiguity. Everything's kind of explained kind of really, really well, with points being repeated in order to avoid any type of confusion. What it does is it means that the rulebook itself looks quite big and quite daunting, but in terms of helping you actually learn the game, it's been set out extremely well, with some thorough explanations and examples on what each of the parts of the project board actually does. It will mean that learning time does add a little bit of time to your first game, but it will be easy to kind of pick up. On terms of, unlike other Dark Imp games, this is probably a game that's going to be figured out for the... It says 10 on the box. You probably might get away with like 7 or 8 year olds playing it, but it's definitely one of the more maturer games in the kind of the Dark Imp kind of catalogue. In terms of looks, well, it's a bright, garish, beautiful, multicoloured looking game, and with everything within the Dark Imp range, it's the graphical work is very, very simple. It's very striking, but it's designed to be as accessible as possible, so even, you know, people who aren't used to playing board games, there's plenty of lovely kind of explanations on the player cards. There's kind of easy to understand kind of iconography on there as well. The game does take up a reasonable amount of space, because as well as having kind of like your main, as well as having Uranus in the centre, you're also going to have kind of like the moon boards for each of the players that you play, and also every player is also going to have their own player board as well. So once you take that into consideration, this is potentially going to take up a reasonable amount of space on the table. Time-wise for your first game, easily probably going to be an easy 90 minutes, if not slightly more. Once you get used to kind of playing the game, it's going to hit round about the 60 to 90 minutes, depending on the number of people that are going to be playing the game, depending on their experience and such like. But yeah, put aside kind of like a couple hours in the afternoon and you would certainly get through Uranus quite quickly. So that's Uranus from the Dark Imp. It's currently on Kickstarter. There'll be a link, or should be a link, in the notes in the video to direct you if you like what you've seen. My name's Richard, this is We're Not Wizards, and 6 Degrees of Expectation. Remember, stay safe, roll cubes. Oh, I got purple. Make something awful. Until the next time. Goodbye. See? I didn't make an arse of it.